ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our show, Ghoul Gang, a paranormal investigation show where the ghosts are alive and we're dead inside. I'm your host, or G-host, Nathan Buttigieg, and joining us this week are Sovik, a believer of the paranormal, and Yasika, a non-believer, as well as the ghost of the recently departed Natalie Smith. She will be dearly missed and remain within our hearts forevermore. Without further ado, let's get on with the show. Guys, what do you think? Do you believe?
I would say I really believe in ghosts.
Oh yeah?
That way? Yeah.
Why? Why is that?
So I have had previous experiences with certain paranormal activities.
Mhm.
Yeah. Once what happened was we had been invited over for dinner at my uncle's place, and once everything was packed up and everybody had gone to sleep, I just went to get some water at night. And at the dinner table, one of the chairs was like being balanced with two legs, and it was there for about a good 2-3 hours. Nobody knew why. So
That's
I
really
started.
weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I do believe as kids, we used to gather, all our friends, we used to gather at night after sunset especially, and we'd go and discuss horror stories with each other. And also see a lot of horror movies, because as kids, our imagination and curiosity is at a peak, and we want to know all these things, like scary stuff especially. And a lot of stories like that, my friends used to tell us, this is what happened and this is what I saw, but nobody knows how or why it happens. I think till we find a logical explanation behind it, it is a ghost. But once we do have a reason, it's just something that happened that did not have an explanation for a long time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So like when you see like videos of weird things happening on the internet,
Yeah.
are you immediately do you immediately like think it's like fake or like made for money?
Honestly, the first question I have is, how did he manage or she manage to do such animations in the video? I want to learn that.
Yeah. Uh, have you guys heard of the ghost of Hosier Lane?
I haven't.
No idea.
Well, let's see a preview of what our team of underpaid paranormal researchers found at Hosier Lane.
Oh my god.
Ghoul Gang is here on Hosier Lane.
Apparently he murdered his second wife.
I think he used to congregate around here.
He married like 4 different women, and he killed all of them.
Frederick Patrick, Demi, and
First murder of his wife.
So they said that at nighttime you'd feel a presence.
Convinced yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, it was worth a try. Well, since we all heard what was on that that video, one of the big ghosts there is Jack the Ripper. How do you think Jack the Ripper got there in the first place?
Well, maybe he was curious and wanted to see the place. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but like, he's a ghost. Like, how would he get there? Like, how would he get here? He's in Britain.
I mean, if Sovik believes so much in ghosts,
Yeah, how
he
would you
might
explain it?
have some explanation for it.
So it is said that spirits attach themselves to certain things, So it might be that before he died, there might have been a personal possession of his, which might have come here somehow. Maybe somebody stole it and got it here, and the soul was not at peace, and it came around searching all over the globe, and it started haunting people here. Could be just as here, but it might work that
Or
way.
maybe the artists just want people to not go there, so they're just coming up with stories, there's a
Oh,
ghost.
well, you never know.
No.
Like ghosts can do like weird things. They can possess people and objects. Uh, oof. I think I'm being possessed right now. So you just think it's all like smoke and mirrors?
For now, yeah. I mean, as much as I respect the beliefs people have, it is, good gossip. But yeah, I don't believe in it. I mean, there has to be something behind it. There has to be some explanation. I mean, if the house is making some haunted noises, maybe they're rats in the ventilation, But yeah, not yet.
But if ghosts don't exist, like, why are we so scared of them?
Maybe the movies, I would say, like, we've seen so much and all.
Oh! Oh! I
How
think we got
do
our
you
proof.
explain
We got
that?
our proof right there.
How do you explain that?
I feel like I'm being attacked.
This wasn't staged. This wasn't staged. No, it's real. It's Natalie Smith.
I don't know. Maybe.
I think there's a ghost among us. What's your perspective on that?
I don't know.
Are you a believer now?
A little bit. You are good convincers. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, that's why we run the show. Make people believe. Yep.
Well,
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us on our show, Ghoul Gang. Remember, if you don't forward this show to your friends and family, you and your lineage will be forever cursed with enfeeblement for the next 100 years. Otherwise, just follow us on Instagram to see more of our adventures. I've been your host, Nathan Buttigieg, and these have been our guests, Suvik, Yasika, and Natalie Smith. God bless her soul. See you, everyone.
we're not seeing.
And on this show, we're talking all about your fears. Joining me later today is Amy and Ryan, and today's episode is all about heights. Amy and Ryan will be telling me a little bit about their relationships with heights, but before we get to that, we conducted a survey and asked the streets of Melbourne, how high is too high? Let's find out.
Falling, like heights. Yeah, heights. Yeah.
I think heights is my biggest fear, yeah.
Heights were probably one of them.
My biggest fear is heights.
3 meters, like I can bounce on a trampoline, but like anything higher than that's too high.
I would say probably like 5 meters.
Like diving deck, but I think anything taller than that, no shot.
No more than 5 meters.
3 stories. Skyscraper. 30 feet.
I think 3 stories high is too high.
I think skydiving is too high for me.
Above 50 stories.
5 meters is too high. It's just like, yeah, if I'm jumping off something, yeah.
Those were some great answers. Personally, I don't get too afraid of heights until I'm close to the ledge, but when I am, I would agree with the answers that maybe 3 stories would throw me off. Moving on to our next segment, I'm joined by Amy and Ryan to chat a little bit about heights. How are you both?
Great, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thanks for having us. I'm good, thank you.
So great to have you on the show. So, I'm aware that you're both afraid of heights, that's correct?
Yes.
Yes, can't stand them.
Can't stand them, that makes sense. So, I'm going to ask you the same question. How high is too high for you?
I'd say like a flight of stairs, anything more than that, and it's like not happening. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Probably the same answer with yours, 3 stories high. Anything below that, I feel like I can just land safely.
You'd be able to like jump off and land on the ground?
Yes, with no safety net or like
No
a cat. Oh my gosh, like a cat.
Yeah, like a cat.
Like
so
flat.
you'd be able to just land on your feet. I am so clumsy. I would not be able to land safely. I'd be terrified that I'd twist my ankle if I were to jump from that height. So, I would like to ask you both, what first made you afraid of heights?
Well, following on from what I said earlier about a flight of stairs when I was younger, took a bit of a tumble, didn't end too well, and from then on I'm like, heights are a no-go.
Do you get nervous when you have to walk upstairs?
Oh, for sure. I think it's more the walking down though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Have you been on the escalator at Parliament Station?
Yes, don't even want to think about that. Traumatic memories.
So
yeah.
What made you afraid of heights, Ethan?
Probably like on a ladder. When I was at work, I was at the highest and I almost slipped and like the whole ladder started shaking.
Oh,
so
no.
I was like,
no,
I
would be
anymore.
terrified. Have you ever thought about when you've got a ladder leaning against a ledge and it's about to fall backwards when you're on it?
Yes.
I am terrified of that.
Yeah.
Even if I'm close to the ground, I'd be worried about falling on my back. Yeah, that scares me. So what about roller coasters? Is that any different for you as compared to heights?
I feel like as someone with a fear of heights and with motion sickness, roller coasters are like my worst nightmare. But if I had to do it, as long as my eyes are closed and I'm not looking at the ground, I feel like I could do it. Yeah.
You reckon you could do it?
I could push through, yeah.
Push through, yeah.
Yeah, I would say similar to Amy's answer. So they don't allow glasses on the roller coasters, so I can't see anything. So like that's like a plus for me. But I also get motion sickness, so like that's me like thinking like don't vomit, like I don't want to vomit on anyone. So like I probably won't think about the fear of heights when I'm on roller coasters. But yeah.
Because you'd be distracted by something else that is
Exactly.
probably equally as terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're both afraid of heights and you have motion sickness. I would imagine that roller coasters would be horrifying for you. So, but without looking at anything, that doesn't make you scared. But you're saying that the drop, would you say that the drop is scary for you at all?
Probably for like a second or two, and then like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that feeling in your stomach where you can really feel the drop for a moment is just terrible.
So nauseating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to our next segment, as you've both explained your fear of heights. Would you do it? So, I'll ask you each a question and you're allowed to give me 2 answers. Either I would or I wouldn't. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, Amy, would you bungee jump off the Eureka Tower if it meant that you got $1 billion in exchange?
Not one to hoard wealth, so no. And if it
No?
means that I have to face my fear of heights, not happening anytime soon. I'm too stubborn for that, sorry.
That makes a lot of sense. Ryan, if you had the chance to meet your soulmate, would you do it if you had to go skydiving first and they were waiting for you at the end?
I would do it because I thought about it and I would have to get down on the ground eventually. So like, why not just like jump, you know?
Yeah, and you'd have to enjoy the ride downwards as well.
Exactly.
And then you get to meet your soulmate, the love of your life at
Exactly.
the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Amy, would you walk on a tightrope 100 meters in the air if it meant you never had to pay for food for the rest of your life?
That's tempting, I gotta say, given how inflation's going at the moment. It
You live
would
in
be
Melbourne.
nice.
Anything that you buy when you go out is $20.
Exactly. Went to Coles the other day, Melbourne Central, Kettle's chips for like $6.
Oh, it's rough.
Who is paying those prices?
Yeah. You reckon you would do it?
I think I could do it, yeah.
Just one day and then the rest of your life you eat for free.
Absolutely, yeah.
And finally, Ryan, would you live in your dream home if the door was on the edge of a cliff? The front door?
I would not, because my dream home does not consist of me having to go on a cliff to enter my house.
Okay, yeah, the logic cancels out. So that brings us to the end of our show, and I want you to have a look at these. These are for you. I want to congratulate you on joining the show. Congratulations for talking about your greatest fear, heights, on Are You Scared? So that's going to wrap up the rest of today's episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm your host, Sarah, and that was Are You Scared? I'll see you next time. Next week, we're talking about spiders. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.
That was great. That was so good. And it was in time?
I think so.
Yeah?
Welcome to Swipe Night Live. I'm your host Tute, and on this show we talk about the accelerated world of dating and how real people navigate it. Today we have our guests Amos and Claire to talk about their experiences in this new dating landscape. Before we get to them, early in this week I was on the streets asking students those hard-hitting questions about love. Today I'm on campus asking some questions. So I've got Charlie here with me. Just like to ask, are you in a relationship?
I am, yes.
How did you meet?
Mutual friends.
Have you ever used dating apps?
Yes.
Which ones did you use?
Tinder.
I'm here with Ryan. Ryan, are you dating anyone?
No.
Are you using dating apps?
Nope.
I'm here with Rhiannon. Are you in a relationship?
Yes, I am.
How did you guys meet?
We met during high school.
So you're not using any dating apps?
No, I've never used them.
Love is definitely in the air on campus. Our two guests will have the chance to share their thoughts about some of those topics. So, do you guys think that dating apps are benefiting people?
Yeah, I think that they are. I think certain dating apps are better than others though. I think that apps that are meant for, relationships like Hinge are better than apps that maybe are more intended for hookups, which I think Tinder's sort of grown into.
Yeah. And you get to find people who you're more suited to as well.
Yeah, but they definitely do perpetuate hookup culture to an extent.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think your love language is and why?
Like gift giving or quality time, most likely. Yeah.
Okay.
I used to think mine was affirmation, but now I realise I actually hate compliments, and I'm definitely, because I just don't believe them, but I think I'm an acts of service person, because it blows my mind when someone thinks of you when you're not with them and does something for you.
Yeah. Well, do you guys think that you have any red flags or icks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would yours be?
It'd probably be if you're talking to them and they're just ignoring you on their phone. Like if they're busy, it's kind of alright, but it's like.
Seems like they're disinterested.
Yeah, it's like disinterested, avoiding it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Claire?
I think it's a red flag if a guy doesn't have any girlfriends, because I like them to be pre-vetted. Like I want them to have other girls that can vouch for the fact that they feel safe around them, that they don't view women as conquest, but rather as friends. And I think it just means they're probably, one for the girls if they have girlfriends.
Yeah, interesting. So that brings us to our red flag game. So there's some red flags here. So I'll ask a question, and if you think it's a red flag, hold up your red flag. Awesome. So when you're in the talking stage, do you guys think it's a red flag if they only text at night? Yes. Why do you think that?
It means they only want one thing. And they don't think about you during the day.
Yeah.
Or they're busy.
Yeah, the exception is if they're asking how your day was. I mean, that's nice.
Yeah.
Give you lots of love one minute and none the next. Hesitant to have labels and make it official. Yep.
They're stringing you along.
Yeah. Talks about their ex all the time. Yeah. And these ones are perhaps more relevant to the official stage. Liking other people's promiscuous posts. No? Like nude,
nude?
No, not nude. Like bikini pictures, for example.
It depends if it's a lot. Yeah.
I think if they follow someone who exclusively posts them and they don't know them, maybe that's us. But if it's just one of their friends, they're just gassing them up. I don't really mind, to be honest.
Doesn't have goals in life.
Depends on, I think, yeah.
If you don't argue with them at all, ever?
Disagree?
And I like a bit of healthy bickering.
Well, yeah.
And keeps the fire alive.
You can bond more through it as well, maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
I think if you argue, though, you have to be good at arguing.
Healthy arguing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Says yes or agrees to everything that you say.
Yeah, I need someone to tell me when I'm being silly.
Yeah.
I need that.
Agree.
Yeah.
God knows I need someone like that, yeah.
You don't want a yes man.
No.
Okay. Well, that's all that we have time for. Thank you so much for watching Swipe Night Live here at RMIT TV, and stay classy. Hello and welcome to Taste of Home. I'm your host Bailey, and today we take a look into what feels like home for individuals and what's cooking in everyone's kitchens. In our day-to-day lives, we're constantly consuming food. Toast you had for breakfast, the snack on the bus to school, the lunch you packed in your bag. But one of the most important meals is it reminds you of home, the food that gives you a warm hug of family, connection, happiness and intimacy. For me personally, the food that most feels like home has to be my mum's lasagna. Something about a nice home-cooked meal just hits the spot. But this can look like a lot of different things for different people. For international student Daniel, home tastes like dumplings. Let's see a little bit more about this now, where he takes us on a culinary journey. I now welcome guests Zoe and Jin to get their thoughts on food and its connections to homes. Welcome in, guys.
Hi.
Welcome
Hello.
to today's show.
Thank you.
Now, I understand you guys both love cooking. Tell me a little bit about that. What do you like to cook and where do you like to cook?
I really love cooking, and sometimes I will cook at my home, and I will invite a lot of like Chinese exchange students to come to my home, and we will like gather together and to eat together, and we will make a lot of like Chinese style food, and we share together. It's really good and interesting.
I mostly cook at home. Actually, one of my friends is a chef, so we bring all the friends and we cook Korean food. We do like dinner gatherings, but also cook outdoors, like when we do camping or going like outdoor, like go to the park and do some barbecue stuff.
Yeah, so is cooking something that reminds you guys of home? Is it something you used to do at home, or is it something that you find is best in a home environment?
I think for me, the best food, like for me, is like hot pot. You know, hot pot is kind of like the most popular food in China. It's kind of like every Chinese when we go somewhere, and the first thing we need to find a hot pot store. And sometimes I will also like cook the hot pot at home. We have a lot of taste soup, and we can put all the things you like, put into the hot pot, and you can taste all the food. Yeah.
I think in that kind of context in Korean food, Korean barbecue could be the similar context. We all gather together, like facing each other in the family, and we cook and we share, and we just like give to each other, oh, you eat that, and you eat that, something like that.
Yeah, do you guys have like one specific dish that's your favorite to cook or that you really enjoy cooking?
I think the most enjoyable food for me is baozi. It's kind of like, I mean, like for foreigners, like for you people, like all we call that dumplings, but it's kind of a little bit different. Like you can cook meat, you can cook vegetables in that, and it's kind of like you can taste all the kind of flavor in that. It tastes quite good, and it will like when I think my home, and I will make that. Yeah.
I like to cook Korean barbecue because it's easy to cook, and it's really easy when a lot of people coming and easy to like give them. But I also like cooking. There's a dish called kimchi fried rice. So adding to kimchi into fried rice and just put some egg on the top. So it really gives me like taste of home, and sort of like a warm feeling when I eat it. Yeah.
So is there a dish, guys, that was very specific to your home that like always was cooked, always like a favorite in the house that everyone just loved?
I need to say the roast duck. Yeah, for like in my hometown, roast duck is kind of like the most famous food. Like everyone will know that. So sometimes I will cook that at home, and yeah, that's really good.
For us, that is famous for everyone could be kimchi. That every house has it, but it's kind of interesting. Different with the regions, they put like local ingredients. So some part they put oyster, some part they put like apple spring onion or something. So that's more like really different with the areas.
Yeah. All right. So in a similar vein, pairing with your food
is there a drink that reminds you of home? For me personally, has to be tea. Love tea. Parents are always drinking it. My little brother drinks it. So it's one of my favourite things. Reminds me of home. Do you guys have a drink that reminds you of home?
Of course, like for Chinese, it's also like tea. For yeah, we really love drink tea, and sometimes we also love milk tea. I know it's very popular in Melbourne right now.
It is. It really is.
Yeah, and it really tastes good, and you can have all the flavors like fruit and milk and mocha, anything. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
Drink. Is it including alcohol?
I don't know. Is it?
Let's say soju. That is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of home when I'm drinking it. But also, if I say like beverage, I would say there is a really famous one called banana flavored milk in Korea that is really popular. And then, yeah, it's sort of like a drink when we go to sauna, and then after like all the steamy thing, we just drink it, and that's the best feeling that you can ever feel. Yeah.
One last question's all we've got time for, guys.
Yeah.
It's a really easy one, but everyone's dying to know. What's for dinner?
For me today is a hot pot, definitely. Yeah.
I made Japanese curry beef last time, so I'm just gonna have that for dinner.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with us, guys. That's all from us today, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in to Taste of Home. We hope you've had a glimpse into what others consider home, and you've thought about what foods remind you of home. Now, I'm off to the kitchen. Those dishes sounded a little bit too delicious. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and have a great night.